Good morning. Thanks for joining me. Today's class is going to be about releasing tight traps. So to start, support one arm by holding it up by the elbow, and right at the very top of your shoulder muscle. It's actually a great acupressure point called letter 21. But either push on it or squeeze between your thumb and pointer finger. Just squeeze that muscle. So our traps. It's like I had no idea. It turns out there's only one. When we say traps, it's our trapezius. Starts at the base of our skull and kind of fans down and includes covers the top of our sort of shoulder. So just give a squeeze. And we'll be doing movements to release tension and tightness in our traps. So giving gallbladder 21 either a rub or squeeze that kind of highest part of your muscle. And then take the sides of your hands and rub the spot where your skull kind of meets your neck. And maybe even lean into your hands and feel that pressure. Now there's 2 points we're getting here. One is gallbladder 20, but also bladder 10. Great points to help release tension and tightness in our traps. Just give a rub. And then opening up your arms, take a big breath in. And exhale, sink around. So opening the heart and embracing the day. So a lot of our movements today, we're going to tense our traps and then release. So kind of tensing and then releasing. As we open our heart and embrace the day. Taking a slow breath in. And even slower, exhale out. Let's do 2 more. And then widening your stance to just about your shoulders. Have your palm face up to the heavens as you scoop. Rotate your palm to still face the heavens and circle around and down. So with our breathing, inhale up. And then a slow exhale down. And this is circling the sun. Again, we have in this movement, you're going to sort of tense your traps. And then invite tension and tightness to just melt. So inhaling up. And then releasing tension and tightness as we circle the sun. And let's do 1 more to each side. And then floating your hands to your belly, give a little rub. And take a slow, deep breath into your belly. And as you exhale out your feet, inviting your feet to just sink, helping you settle. And then invite your tailbone and your whole pelvic floor to also just sink and settle. And then invite your collarbone and your traps that are kind of over that to just also release. And taking slow, deep breaths as you sink, settle, and root from your traps and your pelvic floor and your feet. And turn your awareness inwards. Then opening up your eyes. Round your shoulders so that the backs of your hands face each other. And then open. This is the crane displays their wings. So taking a breath in as you round. And then exhale, open. Sometimes tight traps are actually connected to tight pec muscles, different chest muscles. And then slowly, as you do this movement, glide your chin toward your shoulder, inviting that sort of fluidity and ease. And then little by little, maybe glide your chin a little farther, or maybe not. So you kind of shift into the wise owl, turns their head to eliminate illness and fatigue. As you play with this, see what happens when you lift your wings a little higher. Notice how that changes. So that spot where we're massaging at the top of our traps. And then do just a little squeeze with your glutes as you lean back. So each variation of this wise owl stretches our traps different ways. A little lean and back. Inhaling as we round, and then exhaling as we squeeze your glutes. Do a little back bend. Let's do a little pause. So squeeze, and just drop your shoulders, drop your tailbone. Feel that stretch all on the top of your traps. And then come to center. We'll do that on the other side. Just breathing naturally. And release. And then with one hand connected to the other, lift from the crown of your head as you tuck your chin in and release. So tuck your chin, lift, lengthening the back of your neck. So on the inhale, lift, exhale, release. It's called pushing the pestle. Now, one reason it contributes to tight traps is posture. And having a sort of a head forward posture as we look at our computers and phones. So reminding ourselves to not necessarily to do this tuck, it's an exaggeration, but it helps counter your forward head posture. So stretching your traps and the back of your neck. Well, the back of your neck is actually the beginning of our traps. So inhale and release. And then inhale, tucking your chin and push out through your palms. And then push out with your fingertips. Let your palms face up and face down. So I've been amazed when I've had pretty incredibly tight neck to the point of a migraine that actually using my traps is what released it. Massaging was great, but movements like this were really huge. So then inhale, push, exhale, release. Tighten and release. Let's do 2 more above. And then bringing your hands and fists, float them up and around. Bring your elbows to your ribs and tuck. So they're breathing. Inhale up and then exhale and shh. Shh. So sometimes tension and tightness all through our body can be related to the liver element, a little bit out of balance. So we're adding the healing sound of the liver, which is a shh. Inhale and circle, and then shh. Shh. Let's do one more. Shh. And then standing with your feet as wide as feels right, letting your arms be heavy. And knocking with a light fist on that same acupressure point we started with, that gallbladder 21, maybe lifting up your heel. Just tap with just the right amount of pressure that you notice it. Play around with it if it feels best to use your thumb when you're in a fist, or maybe the your hand. And then slow it down. And then lift up your shoulders. And release. Lift up your shoulders. And release. As you still lift up your shoulders, this time it'll almost be like wings, right? So lift up and down. So we're going to do a shoulder shrug, but with a twist. So twist. So scrunching your shoulders, releasing as you twist, and then shifting to one side. So scrunch your shoulders and release. Scrunch and let's enjoy that liver sound. Scrunch and release. Lift up almost like your shoulders are touching your ears. And release. Let's do one more to each side. And do the little shoulder roll. And a shoulder roll back. Then we're going to do a breathing exercise called the Phoenix washes her feathers. So in this, as we breathe in, we're going to do 3 breaths in a row, scrunching up your shoulders each time. So we'll do 3 breaths. And then release with a shh. And we'll do 3 more in-breaths. So each time as you inhale, tightening your shoulders, and then as you exhale, I'll do one more. And they end this with opening up, crossing your arms, taking a big breath in. We're going to do a big shh, and you're going to cross your eyes and stick with your tongue. So 1, 2, 3. Shh. So let's do that one more time. So 3 breaths in. And then release. 3 breaths in. And then release and sink. Let's do one more. Crossing your arms, taking a big breath in, crossing your eyes and sticking out your tongue. 1, 2, 3. And then shake it out. And then standing with a bow stance. So your back leg, your foot is off to an angle, shifting your weight. And you're going to do the butterfly. It's a good movement to scrunch your shoulders and release. So in this movement, start with your weight, your back leg. Shift forward. Now shift your weight back as you float your arms overhead. Keeping your weight on your back leg, glide your hips back as you lift your front toe. And just feel that stretch. Now shift your weight to your front leg and tuck, scrunching your shoulders, scrunching into a ball, finding your balance. And when you're ready, push out through your heels and through your fists as you lengthen. And then come back. So inhale, open. Exhale, glide your hips back and lift your front toe. Inhale, scrunch to a ball. And then release as you lengthen. So inhale, open. Exhale, come around and your palms face toward the heavens. Shift your weight to your front leg. Tuck, squeeze all your muscles. And then lengthen and release. Let's do one more on this side. Taking a breath in. Letting your hips glide back. Tuck. Lengthen. And this time, take your back leg, come over at a diagonal, and let's do Dragonfly. Butterfly, bows, and release tension in your shoulders, neck, lower back, and your legs. And then come up. So then we'll shift which leg is forward. So shift your weight to your back leg. Shift your forward. Shift your weight back as you open up. Now swoop your arms around as you kind of lift your palms up to the heavens as you're lifting your front toe. Now shift your weight to your front leg. Tighten up as a ball. Tightening those traps. Now release as you lengthen. Now drop your foot back. Open. Come around. Stretch. Backs of your arms and your legs. Tighten. Ball. And then lengthen. And then we'll do it again. So open. Back. Scrunch. Release. And then bringing your leg that's floating behind you back at an angle. And we'll do a bow. Releasing tension and tightness. Maybe bending your knees. Inviting the muscles in your lower back to lengthen. Now remember where the beginning of our traps, which was right there at the base of our skull. Release tension and tightness from the base of your skull. Remember where we were rubbing in the top of our shoulders. Gallbladder 21, release tension and tightness. And then come up and just a little shaking. Focus on that spot where we were rubbing, right? So as you shake, play around with if it's a big shake or a little, and invite that tension and tightness. And then inhaling through your nose and exhaling with a and let's go back to that spot where we started and let's get a little squeeze. Either pushing or actually just taking that whole muscle between your point your finger and thumb and squeeze and just notice if it feels any different. And let's go to the other side. Our lovely gallbladder 21. Maybe digging in all around and then taking the backs of your hands, rubbing for your skull. So it makes the beginning of your traps. And then just sink. We started letting your feet sink, your pelvic floor sink, but also your traps sink. And just turn your awareness inwards. And then opening up your eyes, bringing your feet pretty wide. Shift your weight to one leg as you bring your arms over to that side and float them down to the other side. One name for this is tidal waves. So where we tighten and then release. Taking a breath in and then exhale as you shift. So in this movement, it's a wave. Tap into that fluidity of water, but water is also very connected, right? There's some cohesiveness. So yeah, you may have tension and tightness in your traps, but it's connected to the tension and tightness, maybe in your jaw, or maybe in your hips. So as we do this movement, invite tension and tightness to just wash away. And your arms move with that sort of effortless effort as you move as a cohesive whole. And then shifting your weight to one leg as you float your arms up and float your arms down. Taking a breath in and exhale. Same idea. We're moving as a cohesive whole. Inhaling and exhaling. Noticing your traps as you tighten them and then noticing as they release. So maybe developing that relationship with your traps. Noticing when they're engaged and then noticing when they're releasing. And maybe noticing throughout the day that your traps are engaged, but maybe they don't need to be engaged. So checking in and saying, I'm going to actually tighten my traps of purpose and then just release. Noticing that the tightening really kind of exaggerates, but actually brings our attention to that low level of tightness and tension we often can have. But it's tension and tightness that does not serve us. So, releasing. And then coming to center and floating your hands up and floating your hands down. And so let's end with stroking the waterfall at sunrise. So imagine the backs of your hands going up a waterfall of light. And then as you come down the waterfall, that's when the tension and tightness just washes it out. So inhaling as you stroke up the waterfall. And then exhaling as tension and tightness washes away. Standing a little taller as you inhale. And then sinking into the earth as you exhale. Let's do 2 more. Now there's a part 2. And the part 2 is float your arms up and then turn your thumbs back. Float your hands overhead and float your arms down. With our breathing, inhale. Exhale as your thumbs turn back. Inhale overhead. And then exhale, here's the tension and tightness washing. Inviting that waterfall of light to just come through. Maybe doing this movement with less effort and more ease. Let's do 2 more. And then floating your hands down to your belly, giving a stir. Just stirring in the chi. Bring your feet close together and close your eyes. And let your body just rock and sway like your seaweed. Just floating with that effortless effort. Being supported and held and nourished. Then floating your palms up to your heart, give a rub. And with a bow, give gratitude for all that you have. And give gratitude for all that you are. And thank you. Have a good week.